A pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back to my channel once again. Now, this is something I've been wanting to do for weeks, but unfortunately, I couldn't really get around to it. Nearly a month has passed since I had at least planned on doing a certain milestone challenge of mine that I've been wanting to do now. And of course, with all the posts and updates that I've been doing on multiple social media platforms of mine, it's come to my attention that now I can declare this something to be checked off the list for good. Because what I got in plan here is that this is in fact the milestone challenge that I've been saving up for the 1,600 video count. 1,600 of them. Now, I've been doing some research about it. Apparently the number 1,600 in correspondence to history apparently is when the book Hamlet had been originally published. Though most sources do indicate it was somewhere between 1599 and 1602, I could say for sure it was somewhere around that time that this book was originally published. And with that, the 1,600 video milestone and this might as well just go well together. So what I'm going to be doing here is that I'm going to have myself a 50-minute long reading session, which will involve me reading as much Hamlet as possible within a span of 50 minutes. Now I'm going to be setting up a timer here, just so I'm able to keep up with that. 50 minutes, and I'm going to get ready to start. Now, I do have some water nearby to keep the voice going, as well as a few Jolly Ranchers in my pocket just in case. So, 50 minutes starts now. We'll be starting from part 1, which is simply known as the Tragedy of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. Let's start from Act 1. Scene 1. Enter Bernardo and Francisco, 2 sentinels. Who's there? Nay, answer me. Stand and unfold yourself. Long live the king. Bernardo, thee. You come most carefully upon your hour. 'Tis now struck 12. Get thee to bed, Francisco. For this relief much thanks. 'Tis bitter cold, and I am sick at heart. Have you had quiet guard? Not a mouse stirring. Well, good night. If you do meet Horatio and Marcellus, the rivals of my watch, bid them make haste. Enter Horatio and Marcellus. I think I hear them. Stand ho! Who was there? Friends to this ground. And liegemen to the Dane, give you good night. O farewell, honest soldier, who hath relieved you? Bernardo hath my place. Give you good night. Ola, Bernardo, say what? Is Horatio there? A piece of. Welcome, Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus. What has this thing appeared again tonight? I have seen nothing. Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy, and will not let me leave take hold of, touching this dreaded sight twice seen of us. Therefore I have entreated Horatio along with us to watch the minutes of this night, that if again this apparition come, we may approve our eyes and speak to it. Tush, tush, 'twill not appear. Sit down a while, and let us once again assail your ears, that are so fortified against our story. What have we 2 nights seen? Well, sit we down, and let us hear Bernardo speak of this, last night of all, when yon same star that's westward from the pole has made the course to illume that part of heaven, where now it burns, Marcellus and myself. The bell then beating 1. Peace break thee off. Look where it comes again. In the same figure, like the king that's dead. Thou art a scholar. Speak to it, Horatio. Looks may not like the king. Mark it, Horatio. Most like it harrows me with fear and wonder. it would be spoke to. Speak to it, Horatio. What art thou that usurpst this time of night, together with that fair and warlike form, in which the majesty of buried Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven I charge thee, speak. It is offended. See, it stalks away. Stay, speak, speak. I charge thee, speak. Ghost exits. 'Tis gone, and I will not answer. How now, Horatio, you tremble and look pale. Is not this something more than a fantasy? What think you on... Before my God, I might not see this believe without the sensible and true avouch of mine own eyes. It is not like the king, as thou art to thyself. Such was the very armor they had on, when they the ambitious Norway combated. So frowned they once, when in an angry parle they smote the sledded Pollux on the ice. 'Tis strange. Thus twice prefer, and jump at this dead hour. With martial stock hath they gone by our watch. In what particular thought to work I know not, but in the gross and scope of mine opinion, this bodes some strange eruption to our state. Good now, sit down, and tell me, that knows, why the same strict and most observant watch so nightly toils the subject of the land, and why such daily cast of brazen canyon and foreign mart for implements of war? Why thus such impress of shipwrights, whose sore task does not divide the Sunday from the week? What might be toward that this sweaty haste doth make the night joint laborer with the day? Who is it that can inform me? That can I. At least the whisperer goes on. So our last king, whose image even but now appeared to us, was it, by Fortinbras of Norway, thereto pricked on by a most emulate pride, dared to the combat in which our valiant Hamlet, for so this side of our known world esteemed us, did slay this Fortinbras, who by a sealed compact, well ratified by law and heraldry, did forfeit with life all those the lands which we stood seized of to the conqueror. Against the which a moiety competent was gagged by our king, which had returned to the inheritance of Fortinbras. Had they been vanquisher, as by the same comart and carriage of the article designed, the fell to Hamlet. Now, certain, young Fortinbras, of unapproved metal hot and full, hath in the skirts of Norway here and there, sharked up by a list of lawless resolutes, for food and diet to some enterprise, that hath a stomach in it, which is no other, as it doth well appear unto our state. But to recover of us by strong hands and terms compulsatory those foresaid lands, so by the fond lost, and this, I take it, is the main motive of our preparations. The source of this are watch and the chief head of this post-haste and rubbish of the land. I think it be no other, but in so. Well, may it sort its porters figure, 'cause armed through our watch, so like the king, that was, and is the question of these wars. A mote it is to trouble the mind's eye. In the most high and palmy state of Rome, a little ere the mightiest Julius fell, the graves stood tenantless, and the sheeted dead did squeak and gibber in the Roman streets. As stars with trains of fire and dews of blood, disasters in the sun, and moist star upon whose influence Neptune's empire stands, was sick almost to doomsday with eclipse. And even like precurse of feared events, as harbingers preceding still the fates, and prologue to the omen coming on. have heaven and earth together demonstrated unto our climatures and country. But soft, behold, lo, where it comes again. I'll cross it, though it blast me. Stay, illusion! If thou hast any soft sound or use of voice, speak to me. If there be any good thing to be done, that may to thee do ease and grace to me. Speak to me. If thou art privy to thy country's fate, which happily foreknowingly may avoid, oh speak! Or if thou hast uphoarded in thy life extorted treasure in the womb of earth, for which they say, you, spirits oft walk in death. Speak of it. Stay and speak. Stop it, Marcellus. Shall I strike it with my partisan? Do if it will not stand. 'Tis here. 'Tis here. 'Tis gone. We do it wrong, being so majestical, to offer it the show of violence. For it is as the air invulnerable, and our vain blows malicious mockery. It was about to speak when the cock crew, and then it started like a guilty thing. Upon a fearful summons, I have heard. The cock that is the trumpet to the morn, doth with a lofty and shrill sounding throat awake the god of day, and at the warning, whether in sea or fire, in earth or air, the extravagant and erring spirit hies to the confine, and of the truth herein, this present object made probation. It faded on the crowing of the cock. Some say that ever against this season comes, wherein our Saviour's birth is celebrated. This bird of dawning singeth all night long, and then they say no spirit dares stir abroad. The nights are wholesome, then no planet strike, no fairy takes, nor witch hath power to charm. So hallowed and so gracious is that time. So have I heard and do in part believe it. But look, the morn in russet mantle clad walk o'ers the door of yon high eastward hill. Break we our watch up, and by my advice, let us impart what we've seen tonight unto young Hamlet, for upon my life, the spirit dumb to us will speak to. Do you consent? We shall acquaint Hamlet with it. It is needful in our loves fitting our duty. Let's do it, I pray, and I this morning know where we shall find this most convenient. Though yet of Hamlet our dear sibling's death, the memory be green, and that it us befitted, to bear our hearts in grief and our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet so far hath discretion fought us with nature, that with wisest sorrow think on Hamlet, together with remembrance of ourselves, therefore our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress to this warlike state, have we, as 'twere with a defeated joy, with an auspicious and a dropping eye, with mirth in funeral, and with dirge in marriage, in equal state weighing delight and dole, taken to wife. Nor have we herein bared you better wisdoms, which have freely gone with this affair along, for all our thanks. Now follow that you know, young Fortinbras, holding a weak supposal of our worth, or thinking by our late dear Hamlet's death, our state to be disjoint and out of frame, colleagues with the dream of this entire advantage, hath not failed to pester us with message, importing the surrender of those lands, lost by the parent with all bonds of law, to our most valiant person. So much for Hamlet. Now for ourselves, and for this time of meeting, thus much the business is we have here writ to Norway, relative of young Fortinbras, whose impotent and bedridden scarcely hears of this nephew's purpose to suppress the further gate herein, in that the levies, the lists, and full proportions are all made out of the subject, and we here dispatch. You, good Cornelius, and you, Volton man, for bearers of this greeting to old Norway, giving you no further personal power to business with the king more than the scope of these dilated articles aloud. Farewell, and let your haste commend your duty. In that in all things we show our duty. And now, lords, what's the news with you? You told us of some suit. What is it, lords? You cannot speak of reason to the Dane and lose your voice. What wouldst thou beg? That shall not be my offer, not thy asking. The head is now more native to the heart, the hand is more instrumental to the mouth, than is the drone of Denmark to thy parent. Why wouldst thou have, Larts? My dread lord, you leave in favour to return to France, from whence through Wingley I came to Denmark to show you my duty in your coronation. Yet now I must confess, that duty done. My thoughts and wishes bend against towards France, and bow them to your gracious leave and pardon. Have you and your parents leave? What says Polonius? Hath my lord wronged from me as my slow leave by laboursome petition, and at last, upon the will I see of my heart consent. I do beseech you, give them leave to go. Take thy fair hour, Laerts, time to be thine, and thy best graces spend it at thy will. But now, my cousin Hamlet and my son, a little more than kin and less than kind. How is it that the clouds still hang on you? Not so, my lord. I am much in the sun. Good, Hamlet, cast thy nighted colour off, and let thy eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy valleyed lids. Seek for thy noble parent in the dust. Thou know'st 'tis common, and all that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity. Ay, Ned, it is common, if it be. Why seems it so particular with thee? Seems, Mad? Nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, good parent, nor customary suits of solemn black, nor windy suspiration of forced breath, nor the fruitful river in the eye, nor the dejected behavior of the visage, together with all forms, moods, shapes of grief that can denote me truly. These indeed seem, for they are actions that a person might play. But I have that within which passes show. These are the trappings and the suits of woe. Don't know why that rhymes. 'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these morning duties to your parent, but you must know your parent lost a parent. That parent lost, not that one. And the survivor bound is filial obligation for some term to do some obsequious sorrow. But the preserver is obstinate condolement, is a course of impetuous stubbornness. 'Tis unmanly grief. It shows a will most incorrect to heaven, a heart unfortified, a mind impatient, an understanding simple and unschooled. For what we know must be, and is as common as any, the most vulgar thing to sense. Why should we, in our peevish opposition, take it to heart? Fie! 'Tis a fault to heaven, a fault against the dead, a fault to nature, to reason most absurd, whose common theme is death of parents, and who still hath cried. From the first course, 'tis that died today. This must be so. We pray you, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us, as of a parent, who let the world take note, you are most immediate to our throne, and with no less nobility of love. That in which dearest parent bears a child, do I impart towards you for your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg. It is most retrograde to our desire, and we beseech you, bend you to remain here in the cheer and comfort of our eye, our chiefest courtier, cousin, and our child. Let not thy parent lose prayers. Hamlet, I pray thee, stay with us, go not to Wittenberg. I stand all my best, obey you. Why, 'tis a loving and a fair reply. Be as ourself in Denmark. Dad, come. This gentle an unforced accord of Hamlet, sits smiling to my heart in grace whereof no jocund heart that Denmark drinks today. But the great cannon to the clouds shall tell, and the king's ruse to the Hamlet shall bruit again, re-speaking earthly thunder. Come away! Oh, that this too sullied flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew, or that the everlasting had not fixed. A cannon against self-slaughter. Oh God, God, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seems to me all the uses of this world. Fie, aunt of fie. 'Tis an unweeded garden, that grows to seed things rank and gross in nature. Possess it merely, that it should come to this. But 2 months dead, nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent a king that was to this Hyperion to a satyr, so loving to my parent, that they may not beteem the winds of heaven, visit the face too roughly. Heaven and earth must I remember why you would hang on someone, as it increases and appetite is grown. But what if fed on, and yet within a month? Let me think on it. Frailty, thy name is one. A little month, or ere those shoes were old, with which they followed my poor parent's body. Like Niobe, all tears, why they? Even they. Oh God, a beast that once disgorged of reason would have mourned longer, married with my relative, my parents' sibling, but no more like my parent than I to Hercules within a month, ere yet the salt of more unrighteous tears had left the flushing in the galled eyes. They married, oh, most wicked speed to post, with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not, nor it cannot come to good. But break my heart, for I must hold my tongue. Hail to your lordship. I am glad to see you well. Horatio, or I do forget myself. The same, my lord, and your poor servant ever. Sirrd, my good friend, I'll change that name with you. And what makes you from Wittenberg, Horatio? Marcellus? My good lord. I'm very glad to see you. Good evening, sir. But what, in faith, make you from Wittenberg? A truant disposition. Good, my lord. I would not hear your enemies say so, nor shall you do near that violence, to make it truster of your own report, against yourself. I know you are no truant. But what is your affair in Elsinore? We'll teach you to drink deep ere you depart. My lord, I came to see your parents' funeral. I prithee, do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my parents' wedding. Indeed, my lord, it followed hard upon. Thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the merit tables. Would I had met my dearest foe in heaven, or have I ever seen this day, Horatio? My parents, methinks I see one. Where, my lord? In my mind's eyes, Horatio. I saw that one once. This one was a goodly king. He was human. Take them all for all in all. I shall not upon look like this again. My lord, I think you saw him yesterday. Saw who? My lord, the king, your parent. The king, my parent? Season your admiration for a while, within a 10th year, till I may deliver, upon the witness of these gentle ones, this marvels to you. For God's love, let me hear. 2 nights together had these gentle individuals, Marcellus and Bernardo, on their watch, in the dead waste of the middle of the night, been thus encountered a figure like your parent, armed at point exactly cap up high, appears before them, and with solemn march goes slow and stately by them. Thrice we walked, by their oppressed and fear-surprised eyes. within this truncheon's length. Will stay, distilled almost to jelly with the act of fear. Stand dumb, and speak not to all of them. This to me, in dreadful secrecy in part they did. And I with them, the third night kept the watch. Whereas they had delivered both in time, form of the thing, each word made true and good. The apparition comes. I knew your prayer. These hands are not more like. But where was this? My lord, upon the platform where we watch. Did you not speak to it? My lord, I did. But answer made it none. Yet once methought, it lifted up its head and did address itself to motion, like as it would speak. But even then, the morning cock crew loud, and as the sound, it shrunk its haste away, and vanished from our sight. 'Tis very strange. And I do live, my honored lord. 'Tis true. And we did think it writ down in our duty, to let you know of it. Indeed, seers, but this troubles me. Hold you the watch tonight? We do, my lord. Armed? Say you? Armed, my lord, from top to toe, my lord, from head to foot. Then saw you not the face? Oh yes, my lord, they wore the beaver up. What? Looked so frowningly. A countenance, more in sorrow than in anger, paler red, nay, very pale, and fixed the eyes upon you most constantly. I would have, if I had been there. It would have much amazed you. Very like, stayed it long, while one with moderate haste might tell you 100. Longer, longer. Now when I saw it, the beard was grizzled. No, it was, as I have seen it in our life, a sable silvered. I will watch tonight. Perchance 'twill walk again. I warrant it will. If I assume my noble parent's person, I'll speak to, though hell itself should gape, and bid me hold my peace. I pray you all, if you have hitherto concealed this sight, let it be tenable in your silence still. If whatsoever else shall hap tonight, give it an understanding but no tongue. I will requite your loves. So fare you well. Upon the platform, twixt 11 and 12, I'll visit you. Our duty to your honor. Your loves is mine to you. Farewell, my fond spirit in arms. All that's not well. I doubt some foul play, would the night were come. Till then, sit still, my soul. Foul deeds will rise, though all the earth overwhelm them to humans' eyes. My necessaries are embarked. Farewell. And sibling, as the winds give benefit and convey is assistant, do not sleep, but let me hear from you. Do you doubt that? For Hamlet and the trifling of the favor, hold it as a fashion and a toy in blood, a violet in the youth of primy nature. Forward, not permanent, sweet, not lasting, the perfume and suppliance of a minute, no more. No more, but so. Think it no more. For nature, crescent does not grow alone, infuse in bulk, but as this temple waxes, the inward service of the mind and soul grows wide withal. Perhaps they live now. And now, no soil nor culture doth besmirch the virtue of the will, but you must fear. Greatness weighed, the will is not our own, or themselves, is subject to the birth. It may not, as unvalued persons do, carve ourselves. From choice depends the safety and the health of the whole state, and therefore must our choice be circumscribed unto the voice and yielding of that body, whereof is the head. Then, if we say we love you, it fits your wisdom so far to believe it, as they in particular act in place may give the saying deed, which is no further. Then the main voice of Denmark goes withal. Then weigh what loss your honor may sustain. As if with too credent ear you list our songs, or lose your heart you or the chaste treasure open to an unmastered importunity. Fear it, Ophelia, fear it, my dear sibling, and keep you in the rear of your affection, out of the shot and danger of desire. The chaste maid is prodigal enough. They unmask inner beauty to the mune. Virtue itself escapes not columnist strokes. The canker gives the infants of the spring too up for their buds to be disclosed. And in the warm and liquid dew of youth, contagious blastments are most imminent. Be wary then. Best safety lies in fear. Youth to itself rebels, though none else near. I shall the effect of this good lesson keep as watch persons to my heart. But good, my sibling, do not as some ungracious pastors do. Show me the steep and thorny way to heaven, whiles like a puffed and reckless libertine, themself the primrose path of dalliance treads, and wrecks not the own reed. Oh, fear me not, I stay too long. But here my parent comes. A double blessing is a double grace. Occasion smiles upon a second leave. Yet here, lairds, abroad, for shame. The wind sits in the shoulder of your sail. And then you stayed for it. There, my blessing with thee. And these few precepts in thy memory. Look thou, character, give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought this act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Those friends thou hast in their adoption tried. Grapple them unto thy soul with hoops of steel, but do not dull thy palm with entertainment of each new hatched, unfledged courage. Beware of entrance to a quarrel, but being in, bear it that, opposed, may beware of thee. Give every person thy ear, but few thy voice. Take each person's censure, but reserve thy judgment. Costly thy habit as thy purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy, rich, not gaudy. For the apparel oft proclaims the person, and they in France of the best rank and station are most select and generous chief in that. Neither a borrow nor a lender be. For loan oft loss both itself and a friend. And borrowing dulls the edge of injury. This above all to thine own self be true, and must follow the night of day. Thou canst not then be false to any person. Farewell, my blessing season this and that thee. Most humbly do I take my leave, my lord. The time invests you. Go, your servants tend. Farewell, Ophelia, and remember well what I have said to you. 'Tis in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key of it. Farewell. What is it, Ophelia, they have said to you? So please you, something touching the Lord. Mary, well bethought. 'Tis told me that hath very often late given private type to yourself and you yourself. Have you your audience been more free and bounteous? If it be so, as so 'tis put on me, and in that way of caution, I must tell you, you do not understand yourself so clearly, as it behooves my parent and your honor. What is between you? Give up the truth. They hath, my lord, of the late made many tenders of this kind of affection to me. Affection? Puh! You speak like a green person unsifted in such perilous circumstance. Do you believe these tenders, as you call them? I do not know, my lord, what I should think. Mary, I will teach you. Think yourself a baby, that you have tins these tenders for true prey. Which are not sterling. Tender yourself more daily, or not to crack the wind of the poor phrase. Running it thus, you'll tender me a fool. My lord, they have importuned us with love in honorable fashion, Aye, fashion we call it. Go to, and hath given countenance to the speech, my lord, with almost all the holy vows of heaven. Aye, springes to catch woodcocks. I do know, when the blood burns, how prodigal the soul lends the tongue vows, these blazes ning, even in their promise as in a making. You must not take for fire from this time, but be something scanter your maiden presence. Set your entreatments at a higher rate. Then a command to parle, for Lord Hamlet believed so much in them that we're all young, and with a larger tether may they walk. Then may be given you in few, Ophelia. Do not believe this kind of vows, for they are brokers, not of that dye which their investments show, but mere implorators of unholy suits, breathing like sanctified and pious bawds that better to be beguiled. This is for all I would not, in plain terms, from this time forth, have you so slander any moment leisure, as to give words or talk with the Lord Hamlet. Look to it, I charge you. Come your ways. I shall obey, my lord. The air bites shrewdly. It is very cold. It is a nipping and an eager air. What hour now? I think it lacks at 12. No, it is struck. Indeed, I heard it not. Then it draws near the season, wherein the spirit held this wont to walk. What does this mean, my lord? The king doth wake tonight, and takes this kind of ruse, keeps wassail, and a swaggering upspring reels, and as it drains and draughts of Rhenish down, the kettle drum and trumpet thus bray out the triumph of the pledge. Is it a custom? Ay, Mary, is it? But to my mind, though I am native here, and to the manner born, it is a custom, more honored in the breach than the observance. This heavy-headed revel, east and west, makes us traduce and tax of other nations. They clip us drunkards, and with swoonish praise soil our addition, and indeed it takes from our achievements, though performed at height, the pith and marrow of our attribute. So oft it chances in particular people, that for some vicious mole of nature in them, as in their birth, wherein they are not guilty, since nature cannot choose this origin, by the overgrowth of some complexion, oft breaking down the pales and forts of reason, or by some habit that too much o'erlivens the form of plosive manners, that these individuals, carrying, I say, the stamp of one's defect, being nature's livery, or fortune's star, this virtue's else, be that as pure as grace, as infinite as human may undergo, shall in the general censor take corruption from that particular fault. The dram of evil doth all the noble substance of a doubt to this kind of old scandal. Look, my lord, it comes. Angels and ministers of grace defend us. Be thou a spirit of health, or goblin damned. Bring with thee airs from heaven or blasts from hell. Be thy intents wicked or charitable. Thou comest in such a questionable shape that I will speak to thee. I'll call thee Hamlet, king, parent, royal dance. Oh, answer me. Let me not burst in ignorance, but tell why thy canonized bones, cursed in death, have burst their cerements, why the sepulchre wherein we saw thee quietly interred hath opt this ponderous and marble jaws, to cast thee up again. What may this mean? That thou, dead corse, again in complete steel, revisits thus the glimpses of the moon, making night hideous, and we fools of nature, so hardly to shake our disposition, with thoughts beyond the reaches of our souls. Say, why is this? Wherefore? What should we do? It beckons you to go away with it. as if some impartment to desire to you alone. Look, with what courteous action it waves you to a more removed ground, but do not go with it. No, by no means. It will not speak, then I will follow it. Do not, my lord. Why? Which should be the fear? I do not set my life up as a pin's fee. And for thy soul, what can it do to that? Being a thing immortal itself, it waves me forth again. I'll follow him. What if it tempt you toward the flood, my lord? Or to the dreadful summit of the cliff, that beetles or the base into the sea, and there assume some other horrible form which might deprive you sovereignty of reason, and draw you into madness. Think of it. The very place put toys of desperation, without more motive, into every brain that looks so many fathoms to the sea, and hears it roars beneath. It waves me still. Go on, I'll follow thee. You shall not go, my lord. Hold off your hands. Be ruled, you shall not go. My fate cries out. It makes me each petty archer in this body, as hardly as a Newman lion's nerve. Still am I called? Unhand me, gentle. By heaven, I'll make a ghost of this person that lets me. I say away. Go on, I'll follow thee. It waxes, desperate with imagination. Let's follow. 'Tis not fit thus to obey us. Have after. To what issue will this come? Something is rotten in the state of Denmark. Heaven will direct it. Nay, let's follow them. Whither wilt thou lend me? Speak, I'll go no further. Mark me. I will. My hour is almost come when I go to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself. Alas, poor ghost! Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold. Speak, I am bound to hear. So art thou to revenge, when thou shalt hear. What? I am thy parent's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast and fires. 'Tis the foul crimes done in my days of nature, or burnt and purged away. But that I'm forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house. I could a tale unfold where the lightest word would harrow up to thy frieze, free thy young blood, make it thy two eyes, like stars, start from their spears, thy knotted and combined locks depart, and each particular hair to stand on end, like quills upon the fearful porpentine. But this eternal blazon must not be, to ears of flesh and blood. List, list, oh, list, if thou didst ever thy dear parent love. O God, revenge the foul, most unnatural murder. Murder? Murder most foul, as in the pest it is. But this most foul, strange, and unnatural. Haste me to know it, that I, with wings as swift as meditation or the thoughts of love, may sweep to my revenge. I find thee apt, and duller shouldst thou be than the fat weed that roots itself in ease on, like the wharf. Wouldst thou not stir in this? Now, Hamlet, here, 'tis given out that, sleeping in my orchard, a serpent stung me, so the whole ear of Denmark is by a forged process of my death. Rankly abused. But I know, oh my gosh, thou noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy parent's life, now wears the crown. O my prophetic soul, my relative, that incestuous, that adulterate beast, with witchcraft of the wit with traitorous gifts. O wicked wit and gifts that have the power so to seduce one to this shameful lust, the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. O Hamlet, what a falling off was there from me, whose love was of that dignity, that went hand even with the vow I made to them in marriage, and to decline upon a wretch whose natural gifts were poor to those of mine, with virtue as it never will be moved, through Ludus Count Court, in the shape of heaven. So lost, though, to a radiant angel linked, will sate itself in a celestial bed, and prey on garbage. But soft, methinks, I scent the morning air, brief, let me be, sleeping within my orchard, my custom always of the afternoon. Upon my secure hour, thy uncle stole, with juice of cursin, habona in a vial, and in the porches of my ear did pour. The leprous distilment, whose effect holds such an enmity with blood of human, that swift as quicksilver as it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and with a sudden vigor it doth possess, and curd like eager droppings into a milk. A thin and wholesome blood, so did it mine, and a most instant tether barked about, most lazar-like, with vile and loathsome crust, all my smooch body. This was I, sleeping by a sibling's hand, of life a crown, of leader and once dispatched. Cut off even the blossoms of my sin, unhoused, disappointed, unannaled, no reckoning made, but sent to my account with all my imperfections on my head. O horrible, most horrible! If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. But howsoever thou pursuest this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive. Against thy mother aught. Leave them to heaven. And those thorns in the possum lodge to prick and sting. Fare thee well at once. The glowworm shows the maidens to be near, and gins to pale this entire unaffected fire. Adieu, adieu, adieu. Remember me, all of you host of heaven. O earth, why else? And what shall I couple hell? O fie, hold, my heart. And you, my sinews, grow not instill old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee. I, thou, poor ghost, while memory holds a seat in this distracted globe. Remember thee. Ye, from the table of my memory. I'll wipe away all trivial fond records, all saws of books, all forms, all pressures past, that youth and observation copied there. And thy commandment alone shall live, within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, by heaven. O most person is human. O villain, smiling, damned villain. My tables, meat it is, I set it down. That one may smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark. So on. There you are. Now to my word. It is adieu, adieu, remember me. I have sworn it. My lord, Lord Hamlet. Heaven secure that, Lord. So be it. Hallo, ho, ho, my lord. Hallo, ho, ho. Come, bird, come. How's it, my noble lord? What news, my lord? Oh, wonderful. Good, my lord, tell it. No, you will reveal it. Not I, my lord, heaven, nor I, my lord. How saw he them? With heart of man once think it, but you'll be secret. I, by heaven, my lord, there's never villain dwelling in all Denmark. There's an errant knave. There needs no ghost, my lord, comes from the grave to tell us this. Why, right you are in the right, and so without more circumstance at all. I hold it fit that we shake hands and part. You and your business and desire shall appoint you, for every human hath business and desire. Such as it is, for my own poor part, I will go pray. These are but wild and whirling words, my lord. I'm sorry they offended you heartily. Yes, faith. Heartily. There's no offense, my lord. Yes, by St. Patrick, but there it is, Horatio. And much offense, too, touching this vision here. It is an honest ghost, and let me tell you, for your desire to know what is between us, old master, as you may. And now, good friends, as you are friends, scholars, and soldiers, give me one poor request. What is it, my lord? We will. Never make known what you have seen tonight. My lord, we will not. Nay, but swear it. In faith, my lord, not I. Nor I, my lord, in faith. Upon my sword. We have sworn, my lord, already. Indeed, upon my sword, indeed. Swear? Ha ha, young. Says thou so. Art thou there? True penny? Come on, you hear this fellow in the cellarage. Consent to swear. Propose the oath, my lord. Never to speak in this you have seen. Swear by my sword. Swear. Hic be oblique. Then we shift our ground. Come hither, gentles, and lay your hands upon my sword. Again. Swear by my sword. Never to speak of this what you have heard. Swear by the sword. Well said, O mole. Canst work the earth so fast. O worthy pioneer, once more remove good friends. O day and night. But this is wondrous strange, and therefore as a stranger give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than have dreamed in our philosophy. But come, here as before, never so help you mercy. How strange or odder some I bear myself, as I perchance hereafter shall think meet, to put an antique disposition on, that you at sometimes seeing me never shall, with arms encumbered this, or this head shake, or by pronouncing some doubtful phrase. Well, well, we know. Or we could, if we would. If we list to speak, or there'd be an if they might. Or such ambiguous giving out to note, that you know aught of me. Just do swear, so grace and mercy most help need you. Swear. Rest, rest, perturbed spirit. So, gentle ones, with all my love, I do commend me to you in what so poor human as Hamlet is. May I do express all love and friendship to you. God willing shall not lack, let us go in together. And still your fingers on your lips, I pray. This time enjoin, O cursed spite. Well, right then and there, I just got to Act 2. Wow. 70 pages. That's rather impressive, really. 50 minutes of Hamlet. In conclusion, it sucked! Ah! Freaking grammar! It's all getting to my head, really. Sorry, folks. I really do not want to have to do that again, but it was so awful right there. Grammar was all around despicable. That's for freaking sure. And I only have 2 Jolly Ranchers left. That's another thing that I consider despicable. Oh my gosh, the book is so bad I cannot really get my own words correct. What is wrong with me? Well, that's another milestone challenge that I can at least cross off the list. But anyhow, I had to calm myself before I do anything else. Otherwise, I'm going to get in a whole lot of, well, trouble for myself. But if you want to see more, go down to my channel, whatever it might be. Make sure that you like, subscribe, come on. Oh my God! Comment. So bad right there. Follow me on social media, please. And stay on the Hollywood side.